Hi, you're listening to the Grow Like a Mother podcast. This is a podcast for moms, entrepreneurs, and neurodivergent folks who want to get a better handle on their time and energy management. I am your host, Jill Wright, author of Happy, Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise, and the creator of the Time Magic Seasonal Planner. I am so excited you're here. Let's dive straight into today's episode. This is actually the first time I've ever done this, but I'm re-airing an older episode of the Grow Like a Mother podcast because I really wanted to share it again. It is just as relevant today as it was when it aired back in season three. And Rachel and I have gone through so much collaboration since the point that this one aired. If you are familiar with the Moms Matter Summit, she is my co-founder and co-host. And I mean, immediately after this episode, I went and got her book. It is my go-to gift for new moms to be. Just so many wonderful things came out of this conversation, and I wanted to share her with you again. So, for those of you who don't know, Rachel Newman has rebranded a little bit since this episode. We will make sure all of the information about how you can reach her today in October of 2025 is in the show notes, but I just invite you to settle in, listen to two gals talking about time management, prioritizing, and being busy moms, and enjoy the conversation. I would love for you to share with us what resonated, what's still relevant. If you know about either one of us from this conversation or from each other along the way, it's really fun to know how these relationships grow and how our networks grow just through the power of connection. So I will stop chattering and let's dive right into the conversation. Welcome to the Grow Like a Mother podcast. Today is going to be such a cool episode. I have a soul sister here with me, Rachel Newman. She's a best-selling author, a life coach, and a full-time employee, wife, and a mom to three toddlers who are 5 and 3-year-old twins. So basically, she just wears too many hats. And so she created some systems to thrive in all of the chaos. Raise your hand if this sounds familiar, right? Rachel believes that moms should never rank last on their priority lists, and she teaches women how to take care of themselves before serving their families. She's an avid Texas Tech football fan, a distance runner, and a coffee fanatic. And today, we're talking about habits and time management and prioritizing ourselves in motherhood, which is all of my favorite things. So, welcome to the show, Rachel.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's so cool. I'm glad I found you because we're so aligned in our missions and who we serve. And I'm going to order a copy of your book right after we get off of this. It sounds amazing. Tell me let's start with that because I also just finished writing and publishing a book. So, what was a journey like for you in that, like putting everything down into one resource and being able to give it to people?
Well, also congratulations to you. You know how hard and how
Yeah.
much work goes into this. Like it is literally a labor of love and it's
Yeah.
an extra little baby.
Yeah.
So for me, it started back in April. I was having conversations with some of my friends. I'd been posting on Instagram for a long time, helping other women. And one of them was like, Rachel, you need to write a book. And I was like, but who's going to listen to me? Right? Like, who am I to be writing a book? And they're like, no, you need to write a book. You have this way of conversing with people that is literally like a conversation. It's like a sister talking to you. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll give it a go. We'll see how this works. So I started in late April. I finished writing my rough draft by the end of June, middle end of June. And then it went to publishing and that was like, sorry, editing, formatting, publishing, and all of that was kind of the hands-off part, as I'm sure you know, that is the scary part.
Yeah.
Launched in November and we've just kind of been going since then.
That's so exciting. That timeline is similar to mine in terms of like the launch in November, but I have to admit it took me like much longer to go through the process. I had so much resistance and just like not wanting to let go in that editing phase. And yeah, so man, kudos to us. That's a big deal to get.
Yeah, it's very exciting and I am just excited to see how many moms are supported by this and people in general with your book. Like there's so many nuggets of knowledge in there that it's just going to have that ripple effect.
Yeah, and that's exactly the reason that I think it's important for someone who has something to say to put it in a book or a podcast or a YouTube video or, like however makes sense. But I love that there are so many moms right now going out there and talking and sharing because I don't know about you, but like for me, the more information I can get, the better. And that helps me. But then I also recycle that to my community. They recycle that to their families, to their communities. And it's that ripple effect that you said. And it's really changing the frequency of everything, right? I don't know if you can feel it. I can totally feel it. Like things are shifting and it's so nice.
I completely agree. And I think for me, at least, like in the beginning of 2020, when I had our twins, I had none of that. None of that existed on Instagram. It was literally still, and that's where I hang out. That is when we still really had the, if you're not talking positive things about motherhood, you must not be, enjoying being a mom. You're not grateful, all of that nonsense. And I love the shift I'm seeing where we can talk about the real struggles of motherhood. Yes, of course, we have the sunshine and rainbow moments, but oftentimes we like glance over the storms that get us those sunshine and rainbows, and it's not the case anymore. And I'm loving it. I love that new moms are seeing, hey, just because we're a couple years down the road doesn't mean we don't still have struggles. The struggles are different. And now we've developed as people in this season of motherhood to deal with those struggles. And we're sharing that knowledge. And I think it's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So this is something I want to dig in because I love that you help moms prioritize themselves outside of that role of mom. Um, Tell me about the MomME word and what that means and how you came up with it and how we can sort of like keep that close to heart as we go through just normal everyday life.
Absolutely. So I will never take credit for coming up with the term. That's actually due to my very best friend, Landon. She was like, Rachel, this is all encompassing of what it is you want to be you, the human being that you were before you were a mom, while you're in motherhood. So MomME is literally mom and me, M-E. It's also a fun play on mommy, which is just so fun. But really what the crux of it is that you need to honor the woman that you are outside of your role as a mother in motherhood. It's not fair for your family to just get that one side of you where you're just always in that mother role. They never experience who you are outside of that. Like I was a runner. I am a Texas Tech football fan. I'm probably addicted to coffee. All of these things that have nothing to do with me being a mom, they would not get that part of me. And it's also not fair to me because I was raised to have my hopes, my dreams, my aspirations, and to just let them go away in motherhood just doesn't seem right because then what am I telling my kids? That, hey, you should go and do all of these things too, and then, oh, wait, have a baby and it doesn't matter anymore. And I just don't buy into that. So the concept of the mommy is, yes, you are a mom. That role is extremely important. And we're not saying it's not. We're saying that the you behind the mom, the you were before you were a mom, is also important. And you need to honor that.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. By setting an example and showing the kids of how you show up as your own person, it gives them the freedom, the permission, the example to be able to do that in their own lives. That's what I love about this work, like all this self-development. And we're showing our kids at such an early age by example, even if we don't tell them the words, they get it, right? Like, and then they'll start to get the words. But it's thinking back to my childhood, I don't remember my parents, like my dad had a job, so I knew he had that. And I knew he did that outside of the home. But for my mom, I thought her whole world was the home. I didn't know that she was anything but mom. And I think that was probably quite detrimental. And I think many of us have that experience. So to be able to show our kids, like, oh no, mommy's doing this to take care of herself, or oh no, mommy needs time with her friends, or mommy is building something for our family, right? Whatever the case is, it's so cool. It's so cool that we're now stepping into this, I think, more publicly. There's a lot of women who are starting to go for their dreams and talking about it to encourage other women. So thank you for being in this space. I mean, it's just so refreshing to have someone to talk to about this.
Yeah, it's nice to have sisters in this with you. And I think that's kind of exactly what it is. Like we were saying, your mom is an example. My mom always worked outside the home. So she was battling the work at home, or sorry, work outside the home and then the work in the home, but she never did anything for herself. And you can see the toll that that takes on people when there is nothing outside of that. So whether you're in the home or outside the home, you've got to have something for you. Your kids want to see that. They want to enjoy that with you. My oldest, she's 5, just started taking up running with me, and that 5-year-olds running is just the most adorable thing in the world. So it's a little bit more frustrating, obviously, for me as a distance runner trying to get into that, but I just love seeing her light up and share that experience. And that's also what it is showing them that you can have enjoyment in whatever you do. Our 9 to 5 or what the work that we are doing in our home isn't the entirety of our life. It's a very big, important part of it, but there are other aspects to it too. And like you said, it is so much more publicly acceptable to have those conversations now. And I like, there are so many women to thank for that. I love
Hmm.
it.
Hmm. Yes, yes to all of those things. And I want to see a video of your little girl running with you. That would be incredible. But what I love to like offer the listeners on this podcast are really tactical things that like, okay, you spent the half an hour to listen to us. You're jamming, you're into it, you're feeling the vibes with us. But like when they hit close on their phone and they go back to their lives, like, can you give us a few like tangible things on what we can do to start really living into this idea of like prioritizing yourself without without swinging too far in like the one direction of the pendulum, you know?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that is a very important thing too. I was a teacher for so many years. You have to leave with something or it's all for nothing as far
Yeah.
as like listening to it. So the number one thing that I recommend is shifting our focus away from what have we physically done every single day, right? Like there's so many things going on. It all feels monotonous and we're just in that pile of overwhelm. But shifting from like, I did the dishes today, I did the laundry today, I didn't get this pile of work done, whatever it is, to the impact that you are having by doing those actions. So just to take that example again, I did the dishes today. The impact of that is my family has clean plates to eat off of. And what that says about me is that I care that I can provide for my family and that we have food to eat at the end of the day. Same thing, laundry. I absolutely loathe laundry, but I did laundry today. And by doing laundry today, that means that my family has clothing to wear. And that also says that I care about providing for them. Same thing, maybe I got one thing done for my mommy book or something like that, but that says that I am taking a step to prioritize myself and help other people. So it's just looking at that broader impact. Like if you do only one thing, of course, there are more things we can talk about, but if you only do one thing, it's shifting that focus to impact it will mean everything. That is literally the basis of what took me out of the resentment of being home with 3 under the age of 2 and having given up my teaching profession, all of that. Like that was the starting point of getting out of that for me.
Yeah, mindset is everything. That's where it starts. It's where it has to start. It has to start with you because you can't ever you often can't change your external circumstances, right? So you can only change the inside environment. And then by doing that, your external circumstances start to change, right? And it's all from mindset and then action. Yeah.
Yes. And the way that I do that, I typically do that as an evening journal. And I just write down, this is what I did today. This was the impact it had. And this is what it says about me as a person. And I recently added something in that I also believe is a big impact is doing something that brings you joy every single day. Like one small thing that brings you joy can take 10 minutes out of your day. Like you have 10 minutes somewhere in your day. We all have 10 minutes. It may not be the beautiful start of the day morning routine that some of us love. It may be the 10 minutes at the end of the day or like 10 minutes between wiping booties and making lunch. Like it could be somewhere in there, but you have 10 minutes to do something, anything that's going to bring you some joy. And then I write that in my journal every night. So I have this running log of like, hey, I have made an impact today because that's a big thing for me. And I've brought myself joy today because that also is me taking care of me. And then the journaling process of that is just kind of that daily reminder. Like I am still being this person that I am outside of motherhood. I'm still on the right path to doing all of the things that I want to do to take care of myself. So that is the big one that I would recommend people do.
It's huge because you're documenting progress and momentum, right? And then the more that you focus intentionally on the things, on the impact and on the gratitude, the more your brain's going to look for those opportunities for you to recognize them. So without really changing anything externally yet, your internal landscape is all of a sudden seeing different things, right? It's such a
Mhm.
powerful thing. That's how I started too. And it's like, now it's second nature. It does take practice. That's the thing I always say. Like, it's not, none of this is instantaneous. Like, it's work. You have to continue with it. It's like the example everyone talks about. You go to the gym one day and you expect to have abs. Like, that's the same thing with anything you're working on. It does take consistency and time, but having this 10 minutes in the evening is such a great way to start, you know? Is there anything, excuse me, is there anything else that is like a daily habit for you that that you build on, or that maybe you don't get to do every day, but you find super helpful personally?
There are several that I've built up over time. And that's the other thing I want to encourage you is like this is stuff that you practice and you find what works for you. And it's never going to be a one size fits all. What I have found to be really impactful for the women I work with is getting outside of your house every day. And again, my friend Landon will tell you, but Rachel, I don't want to drive every day. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you need to exit your four walls of your home, whether that's your backyard, walk to the mailbox or something, is that change of scenery. It's good for you, it's good for your kids, and it sounds like such a simple, small thing that you're like, okay, whatever, I'll get out of the house at some point. But it really does have that mindset reframe for you. Like you're in a new environment. If your kids are driving you wild, get them out too. It's good for everybody. So that's an easy step to take. The other one that I really love to do is I move my body. And again, I know we talk about workouts. This is not something that's meant to be overly strenuous. If you are a heavy lifter, go for it. If you're a runner, go for that. But really just moving your body at all, yoga, a walk, go to the mailbox, whatever it happens to be, that is also going to kind of help with moving your body, making you obviously like endorphins make you happy, right? And I just love that quote. But it's one of those things that it's easy to not do, and when you're not doing it, you're going to quickly see the effects of that in your mental state. But when you are consistently doing just those baby steps, getting outside and moving your body, and of course, I always like to throw in the change to impact, those itty bitty things will automatically have a big impact for you.
Yeah, it's always the small steps, right? If we focus on getting too much at once and making too big of a change or too big of a commitment, it becomes overwhelming. We can't sustain it. We can't go from 0 to 60. So we need to go from 0 to 1, and then 1 to 2. And then it's going to feel like your baseline has moved up to 2. So your zero is now at 2, right? So that's how habits are formed. And, Rachel, you've got it exactly right that these changes in scenery can shift your brain, right? And you can shift the energy, shift your kids' energy. I see that all the time. I used to do that when my kids were small. I'm like, out, we're going out. And I'm up here in Canada, so it's like -1,000, but we still go out and we snowshoe or we walk the dog or check the mail. Like you said, maybe if it's way too cold, we'll have a dance party or practice their karate moves, just to shift things because that can be so powerful.
hmm
Yeah.
And that's like you said, when they were little, that was hugely important. If my oldest needed to be doing something, so my kids are 19 months apart, and then 1 minute. When the twins weren't sleeping, I would load everybody up in the truck and we would just run through Starbucks and we'd start like looking at different things. And we have the problem of it's too hot down here in Texas.
Yeah.
So in the summer months, we would do something similar, just go out and play in the water in the backyard, like turn the sprinkler on, whatever it is to just get that movement and then also outside time in. And if you're having any behavioral issues with your children or yourself, call it what it is, that's going to definitely play a role in getting you back to like a baseline that is like, I don't want to say joyous because it's not always joyous, but capable of handling the chaos.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Capable of handling the chaos. That's fantastic. I think also you can use those little moments and those shifts as an opportunity to bring in some of the things that make you you. Like I'm on your website and looking at the freebies that come with the book, like the playlist, right? If you love music and you've got these songs, throw that on and dance with your kids, right? Or if you love running, go and have a race down the street, down the sidewalk. Who can go quicker, right? Like bring some of these pieces of you into your day in a way that serves everybody and is connecting the family and is, you know, handling the chaos, capable of handling the chaos. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
There are so many opportunities once you start to be intentional about it of ways that you can bring things in. I also wanted to get your perspective on like the village and the mom community and how we can get support from other moms and how can that support us in like being me. How can the village support that?
Absolutely. Well, and I want to start by prefacing. So I have several chapters on this in my book that not everybody's village is going to look the same. And I want to encourage you to not compare your village to somebody else's village because your circumstances might be different. And it's not the number of support people that is important, it is the quality of them. Because remember, these are the people that you are surrounding yourself with. And it's the same as anything else. You want the best people in your circle that support and encourage you and your kids. So for me, my circle is tight knit and there are not that many people in there just because of where we live, circumstances, all of that. But there are many different things you can do to create that. So, one of them I had to drive when we were in Houston. We're now in a different place, but when we were there, I drove 45 minutes once a week to meet with two of my really good friends so we could have coffee while we half cold coffee while we were wrangling toddlers and, not really finishing conversations. But it was that act of getting out and seeing somebody else is in it. They're here. Maybe I didn't get a full conversation with them, but I know like they understand where I'm coming from. And then we would intentionally also go out at a different point in time, a mom's night only. So I encourage finding that group of friends. Maybe you don't have that available to you close by. I got a solution for you there too. I have a bunch of friends all over Instagram. One of my best friends now, I didn't even know that she lived like 15 miles from me. Her twins were born 2 days after my twins. She's in a different Moms of Multiples group. She and I became friends on Instagram, and our kids are almost 4 now. We're still friends to this day. I still send her audio messages like, dude, you're doing a great job. These kids are driving me crazy. What's going on? All of these different things. Like there are ways to make it happen. It might not look the traditional village down the street. You can drop them off at mom's house, but you've got to have somebody in your corner that you can bounce those ideas with or just sit in solidarity with you when they are driving you bananas.
Yeah, that's a huge one. I remember those days too. It's like if I put him out on the end of the driveway with a sign that says free, do you think anyone will take him? Her too. My daughter was actually harder, but having those laughable, relatable moments where you both are like, okay, let's take a breath. Like this isn't as dramatic. Like, yes, it sucks, and we're so tired and we're so like just in it. We're in the mix right now, but we've got each other. Here's my hand, right? Like I see you. That's so fantastic. And I always tell people too, like you had mentioned with Instagram, you might not be anywhere where you have that, you have people physically around you, but like there's books, there's YouTube, there are Facebook communities. If you can find a group of people who are like-minded, even if it's not parenting related, you can find your village with people who aren't parents necessarily, right? Like I'm in an authors supporting authors Facebook group. That's a fantastic place to go for me to take that little piece of my life, that one piece of my soul, the writer, and find other people who are doing the same things as me, who can understand those particular struggles. And so, yeah, I think having the village and having friends and having non-parent friends and having parent friends and having just everything is so valuable. Um, I see here also in the bonus materials that you've got, I'm just like geeking out on these, like how to organize a mom's group and the mom group vetting form. Like, can you talk to me before we wrap up a little bit about that and how you came up with these tools to include as resources with the valuable resource of the book that you've got?
Well, thank you. It was, again, a labor of love. And I saw this was what I needed. And really, I think the book, and many times when we write books, we write the book that we needed years ago. And this was it for me. So I like how you mentioned that this is hard and we're not alone. So the very first chapter of my book is called This S Word is Hard and You're Not Alone. And part of that, it is a part of recognizing no matter where you are, even if your people aren't in your corner, like this little corner of the world, they're somewhere. So you're never alone. And then the resources came about. So when I was in Houston, about a year and a half after we had the twins, I found that we actually have a state and national organization for moms of multiples. So twins, triplets, quads, all of the things. I had no idea that 4 of the people on my street, literally there are so many twins that were on our old street. It is unbelievable. However, they were in this organization. I had no idea they were down the street. And I'm like, y'all, what? Excuse me, how did I get left out of this? Where was the memo? So I found that organization. And when we moved to Lubbock about a year ago, year and a half, there was nothing. They had no organization. They had no moms group. They had the desire for it, but nobody stepped up to build it. And I said, all right, well, I'm going to be that person because I know firsthand how much it changed my life having that community of women who got it. And it may not be that you're a mom of multiples, but somebody is gonna have something that aligns with you. Maybe you've got kids who like you want to homeschool, or they really love karate and you just want to talk about like why are they hitting each other all the time. I have no idea what it could be. Mine do it too, and they're not in karate. But if there isn't a group and you've been looking and you've tried, there's so the vetting form is about looking at different communities. I always recommend starting by looking and seeing if there is anything that aligns with you. And there's a whole list of questions I have for you to walk through on how to actually do that. So it's everything from, well, what are you really looking for? When do they meet? Does it align with your time? Does the organization and do the people in the organization align with your values? Do your kids feel like they fit in? All of those different things that it does take time to vet, but if you're going to be putting yourself around these people, again, that's that village component. You want to make sure you're with the right people who are going to bring you up and not add more stress into your life. So for me, I then created the organization because the desire was there. Nobody was ready to step up. And I said, okay, I have the capacity to do it at this point. I found 4 other women who were also like, yes, let's do this. And we built ourselves an organization from the ground up. And it's a lot of work initially, but I see the benefit it's having for us moms and our children. So they're seeing people that are like them. They get the whole vibe of we're all running around crazy. Sunday, we were serving in our community, and we brought all of our multiples to serve, and the bigger kids to serve the community. And all of the moms are just like, one of us is serving and another person is watching where all of the kids are. And it's just having those moms that get it. They get your back. They are there in it with you. And anytime you need something, they're there. So there are those forms to, one, help you see if you can find a group before you have to go through the effort of creating one. And if you feel called to create one, I've got you there too, so you can figure out how to do it.
I love it. So valuable, so many tools. This is my jam. Where can people find it? Like, so you said you're on Instagram. Of course, I'll put all the links in the show notes, but Instagram's the right place to connect with you. That's where you're most.
Oh, yes. I love to hang out over there. It's my favorite place to be. And then also my website is a good place to go. It's therachelnewman.com. The book is available on Amazon. If you felt like you wanted a signed copy with a note from me, you can find that on my website as well. And then all of the resources come with the book. So it's an immediate, they get sent off to you. And of course, there's like instructions and different material about it in the book as well.
Amazing. And the name of the book is?
MomME, a mom's guide to saying goodbye to overwhelm, prioritizing yourself, and enjoying motherhood.
Which is what we all really need these days.
Yes.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. I know this is going to be such a hit with all of the listeners, and I just appreciate your time and your wisdom and the connection. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Jill.